I'm from GameEnthus.com, and this time I'm checking out Downtown Farmers Market, the strategy game for savvy shoppers. In Downtown Farmers Market, players are going to be taking the role of consumers going down to, I presume, a local downtown farmers market and are trying to complete certain challenges to bring back a certain number of foods. Players are going to be collecting tiles and placing them into a 4x4 grid and hoping to put them in the right locations to score points. Downtown Farmers Market was designed by Johan Benvenuto and Alexandre Droit. It's for ages 7 and up, plays 2 to 4 players, and is published by Blue Orange Games. Let's check it out. So this is the box for Downtown Farmers Market. Open it up and you reveal a first player piece token. Within the box, there's also going to be 65 food tiles and 44 challenge tiles. So a challenge tile would be something like this. So in a row or column, you would not want to have any eggs, any carrots, or any corn. And if you get it done, you'll get 8 points. Look at that. So, and there's a bunch of them. Like this one, you can't have any more than 6 things in your row or column. No corn. So often the harder they are to fulfill, the more points they're going to be worth. This one, for example, having 11 items total, regardless of what it is, will get you 9 points. And some are interesting in that they're just based on the number of that object or that food item. So this is just 1 point for every egg. So that seems kind of fair. Just get a bunch of eggs in there. This one is 2 points for every set of milk and corn. They run you through a couple of turns, and one thing I unfortunately neglected to show in the beginning was what the actual food tiles look like. Like I said, I believe there's 65 of them in the box, and they're going to basically have 1, 2, 3 foods on them. Sometimes they'll be the same food. Sometimes, as you can see, they'll be different. Egg, bread, cheese. And this just has a single corn. The blades of grass and whatever this is don't really count. Just the corn. So don't get too excited. All right. The starting player is going to be this very much licensed N64 Rumble Pack. A lot of light there. I don't like that either. There we go. And they're the Rumble Pack was the last player to go to the farmer's market, so they are going to start, and they'll be playing against Wreck-It Ralph here from Disney Infinity. And then you're going to lay out 5 different tiles. I typically don't stack all the tiles on top of each other because it's a little precarious, and then it could fall, and then it, knocks over a drink, and then that falls. It's a whole thing, and then the whole night is ruined, and people don't want to come over and play games anymore. And then what do you have? So even though it's already set up, what you would do is you deal each player 4 challenge tiles, and they would decide whether or not they're going to be used to make rows or columns, but they'd have to take all 4 of what they have and decide whether they're going to be used for rows or columns. Then each player would get an additional 4 and make the same decision, whether they're going to be columns or rows or whatever you decide to do. You can't mix and match. You can decide how you place them, but only for making rows or columns for each 4. I've made that way too complicated. But you get 4, you lay them out on the same side, get another 4, do the same thing. So I have 8 challenges over here. Rumble Pack has 8 challenges. Wreck-It Ralph has 8 challenges. We have 5 things here. I'll just go over what a couple of them are. This one is 11 different things in this column, get you 9 points. 5 different things that get you 11. That's tough. You definitely some single ones and a couple of them. No cheese in this column for 4 points. 2 eggs, 1 cheese in this column for 6. Any combination of bread, carrots, and corn in this row will get you 4 points. 4 cheese, 3 bread, get you 9. 6 different things, 6 different food items will get you 6 points. And then the plus sign here means that that ingredient must be the majority. So whatever you have in this row is fine. You just have to have mostly carrots to get 4. All right. And these are fairly similar. I think the only different ones are, this is similar. You have to have 6 different things here. Every egg gets you a point. Every cheese gets you a point. 3 egg, 3 milk gets you 8. You can't have any eggs, any carrots, or any corn for 8 points. These are somewhat similar. They get the idea. So how it works differently. So this is a 2-player setup. So 2-player setup, the player who goes first is going to take a tile to put into their grid, and then they're going to get rid of a tile. The second player would do the exact same thing. They would take a tile and get rid of one, and then one would remain, and you'd repopulate and then go in again. In a 3-player game, the player who's going first would choose a tile, put one back in the box, and then the second and third player would just choose a single tile. There's always going to be one left over, and then you repopulate up to 5. In a 4-player game, everybody would just choose one tile for their grid and going to be left over. So it's always going to be one left over. So in a 2-player game, both players are going to take one, get rid of one. So it's interesting that a 2-player game seems a little more cutthroat. It's not really. It's just, it kind of is, just because you can see what's in your opponent's grid. So you're going to have some idea maybe what they want, because either you've looked at their grid and you know, or there'll be some body language, maybe some words that the other player is saying that make it really clear that they want a certain tile. So let me just show you how it works. So, all right, so for this one, the first player is going to go, and then it's going to alternate. So after all these are gone, then it goes back over to Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph will go first, so on and so forth. All right, so I need 11 things here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take this one, because that gets me 3 things right off the bat, which is great. And, well, actually, do I want those 3 things? Well, I have one of the things I need, which is bread, which really isn't that great. I wish there was something with carrots here. And might not make the most sense, but player 1's going to just get rid of this. All right, now over to player 2. Okay, so they can't have any corn here. Ooh, this is rough. How are they gonna? Ooh, that's gonna be rough. And then you see the contradicting thing here. You have you want eggs all here, but then you definitely don't want an egg in this spot right here, because you don't want the egg, so you can be a third of the way to getting those 8 points. I'm stalling also. 6 different things. So let's say they put that there. Those are 2 different things. And they're gonna get rid of, I'll say let's get rid of, I don't want to go there. They get rid of that. All right, it's gonna switch. And I normally just lay them out in 4 little piles and then just take one from the top of each one. That seems to work out okay. So now player 2, Wreck-It Ralph, is gonna go next. Now that the grids are complete, you would go through scoring. Whoever has the most points would win the game. There is also the Young Farmers mode, where players are going to be scoring the food that comes up the most for every column in every row, instead of scoring the challenge tiles. So that mixes it up a little bit. For younger players, maybe players who just aren't ready, to use the challenge tiles. So there's that. Downtown Farmers Market. I got tired of holding it during that entire thing, so I just put it right there on the shelf. You can see it. That's it. Or maybe it'll be larger right here. We'll see what happens. Anyway, my thoughts. So I play Downtown Farmers Market with a good number of people. Some who are probably consider themselves to be hobbyist gamers. Others who are people who just, if you put a game in front of them, they'll check it out, they'll play it, but they're not really hobbyist gamers. Maybe they're more casual gamers, maybe not. They'll play a game, you put a game in front of them. The common thread of comments that I got about the game was that everyone really enjoyed it. Now that's great, but they're not reviewing this video. I think Downtown Farmers Market is a fantastic game. Mechanically, it is simple. You are taking a tile. Depending on the number of players, you might be getting rid of that tile. Tiles are also double-sided. I'm not sure if I showed that in the video. All the challenge tiles are double-sided. Mechanically, the game is fairly simple. You are taking a tile and putting it into your 4x4 grid. Everybody playing will have 16 tiles at the end of the game. That being said, I've sat this game down in front of people who enjoy things like Terraforming Mars and heard comments like, oh, this is tough, this is challenging, but they loved it. They thought the game was great. Your difficulty is kind of set by you. Now, granted, you will be given 8 different challenge tokens, and they are double-sided, and the opposite side doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the sides don't necessarily coincide. It's not like one side have 6 things and the other side have 4. The point being, the game is really fun. Mechanically, like I said, very simple. The challenge comes in what requirements and what challenges you pick to play. And that's where it gets really, really interesting. So yeah, like I said, anytime, this is the kind of game where I'm almost always in the mood for, because it doesn't take a lot to set up. It's mechanically, like I said, it's simple, but it definitely gets your brain going with like, how can I earn this and not mess this up? And I really like that. It's just a great game all around. I'm gonna be pulling this one out a lot. If I had one complaint about it, I wish this played more people, but I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. So that's my only real complaint about the game, is I wish it just played more than 4. But as it is, Downtown Farmers Market, very solid game, highly recommended. Yeah, this is a good game to start the night off, end it, the middle of it, beginning of the end of the beginning. You know what I mean? That's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. Take care, stay safe, and be blessed.